What's up, everybody? We are back for round 2 of From Drinking to Thinking, buddies. Did I get it right this time?
No, it's from from drinking buds to thinking buds.
I can't think of it anyway. That's the hard part is we're talking about thinking and I just can't think half the time. So I apologize. But again, for all you awesome sauce people out there, if you don't know who I am, I'm Hogan with my good buddy Mike, and we are here to just talk, riff raff, and genuinely cause mayhem, right? Is that's I figure that's what we're doing today.
Oh
Are
yeah,
we?
dude, we're definitely agents of chaos. I don't think we do anything chaotic anymore.
Pinky in the brain, like hardcore, like what are we doing tonight? Narf. I just aged myself so badly right there.
It's fine, dude. If you didn't narf, I was gonna narf.
Okay,
So
I'm glad one of us did. That's a big thing because there's so many kids out there are probably just like, what the hell is narf even mean? But if you didn't watch Pinky in the Brain, shame on you. That's all I have to say. But what's going on, buddy? How you doing? Talk to me. What do you got?
No, I'm doing good. Getting over a little bit, not feeling well, but doing good now. Just I guess getting ready for Easter, whatever that entails now. Now I guess I'm supposed to be in charge of the menu. So I don't know, now that I cook, now all of a sudden it's like, oh, Mike will just figure it out. So
Well, what are we having?
I want to make steak. I definitely want to probably make some type of Brussels sprouts. I want to do my parents. Have you ever had spaghetti squash before?
Yeah, that's actually really good.
Yeah, I was going to try to make 2 different types of spaghetti squash. And then my niece is super allergic to a lot of stuff. So I got to go find a fun, gluten, dairy-free, whatever bakery.
Yeah, all right.
Do that. Hey, dude, nothing crazy. We used to have like 35 rowdy Italian people around the table. Now there's like 6 of us, and my mom still wants to act like, what are we gonna do for food? I'm like, it's really not that much food. Like it's not that much. We don't need 4 courses. It's pretty simple.
No, I totally get that. Our family was never like crazy on Easter stuff. I mean, we would do like dinners or, run around trying to find Easter bunny crap in the morning and all that. Did you believe in the Easter bunny? I 100% did for like the longest time. Okay, just checking. Because there's kids these days that just don't have any there's no imagination anymore. Like Santa doesn't exist anymore. Easter bunny doesn't exist. It's just like I feel like being a kid is so like boring now, where they just sort of like iPad me and leave me alone. You're like, oh, cool. All right. So I just won't have a conversation with you and you're going to grow up just addicted to screens. Sounds amazing. But
I think there was actually just some like lawsuit that some family won for like $6 million, where like they sued, I don't know if it was YouTube or Facebook, but saying that their kid was like addicted to it. So I have a feeling that they're going to start as soon as people's pockets start getting hurt, there's going to be like some type of regulation of like, okay, like doctors say that as long as you can only give them an hour of screen time a day, we're not liable to get sued. So anything other than that, you're on your own. So it's weirdly going to be regulated somehow.
Which I get to an extent, but I think that is such an indictment on the parents instead of actually, like, again, I might be way off course here, but like I feel like that goes back to like blame the bullet, not the person who shot him. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, is it really like a tool that helps people and stuff? Like, not necessarily. Like, I'm not going to sit here and defend Facebook or like YouTube or whatever, but at the same time, like, if you're the one that's letting your kid just sit there and just be like a zombie in front of a screen for X amount of time a day, like, I feel like that there's blame both sides, but like it could lead to something better. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's just it's so easy to do this stuff. Like if you have stuff that's readily and easily available, it's like hard to like. Have you tried to watch commercials? Like when's the last time you tried to watch a commercial? It's terrible.
Oh, they're awful.
Yeah, but that's like first world problems. Like I don't know. I never really I was not used to watching commercials, and then I don't have any like subscriptions anymore. So now I like watch things with commercials, and I immediately grab my phone and I'm like, oh, how did I used to do this when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Like how every single show had commercials. You had cassettes and stuff. Like you had to listen to complete albums. So I mean, it's hard to say that it's on the parents when I think that I lost internet for like 2 days and I didn't know what to do. I was like everything. I don't want to say her name because she's gonna mess with my lights, but all my lights are made up by that little robot speaker that listens to everything you say
Oh,
and records
yeah.
it.
Shishmashma.
Yeah. And so yeah, so I'm like, I can't turn on my lights. I can't watch anything on TV. Everything is like the TV's connected to Wi-Fi now. So I was just like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And I just read like 400 pages of like Harry Potter in like 2 days because
You know,
I was like, what do you do?
what's actually really funny about this is I was talking to my parents earlier and I was going over how like I'm trying to fight back so hard against the digital age where the ironic part is I am a huge proponent of technology. Like I love to like if you can see behind me right now, I literally have PS5, Nintendo Switch, like I have technology with me. I love technology. It's one of those like huge mainstay in my life kind of thing. But I'm also actively like holding down the fort of like a fighting a one-man war against the digital age, if that makes sense, where I am trying so hard to like maintain physical media because I'm so sick of the endless subscription money dumping and just like the concept of like you don't own anything anymore, like
Yeah.
you own the right to watch it or like blah blah blah, where like Ashley and I the other weekend she wanted to sit down and watch through the Pirates of the Caribbean like franchise, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And she's like, well, we don't have Disney Plus. And I'm like, DVDs, hello,
Yeah.
here we go. And it was just like mind blown because it's like, when's the last time you watched a DVD? You know what I mean? But it's like, I'm that kind of person where it's like, I want the capability to watch something whenever I want, like at any time possible. And it's like, you think about that where how many times do like you immediately, like you said, you go to your phone, it's like, if you're like thinking of a movie, like, oh, I want to watch like Austin Powers, haven't seen that in so long. Oh, what's the first thing you do? Google Austin Powers streaming, and you have to look through all the streaming service and be like, which one's it on this week, or is it on any of them? Do I have to rent it on Amazon Prime or blah blah blah? So it's like I totally get that. It's just it's crazy how far the mediums has like shifted from like you said, cassette tapes, CDs, DVDs to now it's like you own nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I forgot like what there was some study I was reading about it, and they just talked about how people are starting to get angry now. Like
Yeah,
I guess that they're realizing that they've been paying X amount every month for whatever it is, but then they own nothing. Like you don't you're just spending all this money and there's nothing tangible to have.
right, right.
I got,
And
but I did, but and to be fair, I got most of my DVDs in college because the kids across the hall from me, their hustle was they went to Walmart and they would steal DVDs that you gave them a list for, and instead of spending like $30, they would like bundle 5 of them for like $10 until they got caught. But that's how I got the new Transformers. Like
that's
at,
there you
at the
go.
time, yeah, I got some good movies from them. I think I got Black Knight with was it Martin Lawrence and
We
stuff. Yeah.
watched that recently. Actually, I forgot how ridiculously funny that movie was, and I had no idea who was in it. That was there was like some big names in that movie that I was just like, this is absolutely ridiculous to see Martin Lawrence in this role. But no, it's like I said, it's a fascinating thing to see how like we just talked about, the digital age is just overtaking everything and how it influences young kids and like even us to this point where we grew up with that shift from physical media to what we see now. And again, like I said, where I'm fighting my one man war against it. But it's funny, we're going down this path of like nostalgia where you and I were talking previously to recording, and then shout out to our buddy Tommy. His birthday was yesterday. I
Happy
drove
birthday,
down
Tom.
and saw him. Went down to the Cape and had a nice fun time with him, and our buddy Kevin too. But we were reminiscing over so many things, and we got to tell the story of the 2-hour phone call with you yesterday that just went off the rails because we talk about nostalgia, we talk about reminiscing. We completely could not figure out like who our like floor plan was that we lived with for so long on a phone call, where it was like we got how many people involved in it at one point. We had like 10 people like chatting with each other, trying to remember who lived with who lived where, and it just was like absolutely off the rails. And then we finally figured out that there was just this one random dude that lived with us, and we just all of us collectively forgot about it except for one person in a 12-person group chat was just like, hey, remember this guy? And all of us were like, what are you talking about?
My name is GF.
Oh my god. I just like
His name was Jeff, and I could not remember him for the life of me.
and the craziest part was like we Googled like Jeff with like Springfield College for that, and that was the first picture that popped up that we sent to the group chat, and immediately everybody was like, "Oh yeah, that dude existed." It was just like so random where I just wasn't expecting like to go down that rabbit hole the way we did, but it got me thinking where it's just like you called it. It was funny because you called it like the Mandela effect with like
Yeah.
who was living with our buddy Jack or whatever. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself like, how much other crap did I actually forget? Because I even forgot like one person who lived next to me all of sophomore year, where I must have actively blocked it out of my mind. Where I'm like, I didn't want to remember him, or I just didn't care. I don't remember either way. But like, dude, is that not wild to you?
What, the way that memory works? Yeah, it's crazy because there's certain things that I will never forget in my life, and then there's other things that I can't remember for the life of me. Like
Right.
I get the theirs screwed up all the time. To this day, I can't, for some reason it just, my brain will not pick it up. But then there's like did you ever do proofs in math in high school?
Proofs in math? What do you mean?
Proofs. It was like almost like a word problem, but it was for like math. But it was like super difficult. But for some reason, I sucked at everything else. I think because I'm probably dyslexic, so numbers screw me up and fractions. But it was called proofs, and one of the main terms was CPCTC. It was like proving that like a triangle is equal to another triangle. It's ridiculous.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like, so CPCTC was corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Like it's like and like that sticks with me. There was a guy that we had, Mr. Letty, in 7th grade. He was our social studies teacher. And he goes, "You're never going to forget what I'm about to do." And we're like, "Yeah, bullshit, you old crazy guy." And he was like, "I've met kids that are in their 40s and they're like, Mr. Letty, I still remember you doing this." He would stand on the desk and he would sing the continents. So he would just get up like almost like a show tuney thing with like, remember how they used to have the stick thing for like
Hello, my
the
honey.
board?
Hello, my
Yeah. And he would, and one time he broke the desk for the class. He was a big, heavy guy. But so he just goes, North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, Antarctica. And I could probably call up like 10 of my buddies right now and say, sing the Mr. Letty song, and they would know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's super weird how there's just like things that just completely, no matter how much you want to get rid of them, you'll never get rid of them. And then there's people that you lived with for an entire year that you're like, who?
That's the thing that blows my mind is like the fact that we like again, but I think the one thing that just makes it even more crazy is that we all collectively like seem to have just evaporated this person from our like memory banks, which just blows my mind. But you bring up like something funny when we're reminiscing about like former teachers that like stick with you, and of course like over my lifetime had probably a bazillion teachers, you know, whether it was school, coaches, whatever else, you know, everybody's really a teacher if you think about it, depending on what they impart on you. But like one teacher that I'll never forget for me personally is my science teacher in 9th grade, and Mr. Wheaton was just and he was the biggest thing that I remember about him was because he was so energetic and full of joy teaching the subject that he did. He taught science, and the way that he would like explain things to us, he was the biggest fan of the Three Stooges, like old, like classic Three Stooges, like, you know, like Mo, Larry, Curly, like would just die laughing at them. If you've seen the clip 1,000 times, he wouldn't care. But he would use like old clips of the Three Stooges to like do science. And I forget like how he actually did it, but like I just remember like the joy and the passion that he had teaching it, because you could see he would like laugh harder than anybody else, where all of us are sitting there like, I love the Three Stooges, so I was laughing along with him. But then, you know, like, you know, teenage girls sitting there being like, what the hell are we watching? Like, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? But like, I remember it to this day because I was like, dude, that guy loved what he did. And that's awesome to see. Ask me who my 8th grade science teacher was. No idea.
Mr.
Gone.
Hansen.
Maybe.
I remember most of my science teachers actually.
I mean, but that's what I mean is like, though, like if you enjoy the aspect of whatever you're learning, and that's one thing I always tell people too, like especially with like people who like struggle with school and whatnot, is like I wish school focused so much more on teaching us things that we were actually interested in that could like be used like in a day-to-day basis as well. You know what I mean? Like I know we're going way off topic here with everything.
No,
but like,
it's not. I mean, it's not way off. I don't know if there's really a topic. So
As we're still trying to figure this out. That's what the whole point of this
Yeah.
podcast. We're just two guys just ranting and raving about life and stuff like that. But like, what I was saying is just, and I lost my train of thought. You derailed me.
I
Say
derailed you.
you derailed me. See, we're
Oh,
talking about
okay.
losing our memory, and I'm at that point now where like I'm going into
You were
dementia
talking
land.
about that you wish that schools would, I guess, pay more, or at least I thought you were going towards that they should be teaching kids what they want to learn or something they're excited about, as opposed to just jamming random shit down their throat.
Yes, that's a big part of it. Is I think obviously there's two aspects of school. Like if you put me in charge of like reinventing school to be what I think it should be, the way that I look at it is like you obviously have to have a bucket of things that like day to day you need this, like you should absolutely know how to do this. Like yes, basic math is up there. Like learning to do your taxes is up there. Tax season, thinking about that right now, trying to do all that crap last second. Balancing a checkbook, which I don't think anybody on the planet does anymore, because again, it's all digital.
I've never had a checkbook, and two of my cousins are like amazed. They're like, "You've never had a check?" I'm like, no.
That's wild. I've had a checkbook for a long time, but like,
Nope.
but it's what I'm talking about. It's like you have your bucket of like things that are absolutely necessities for daily life, but then at the same time, like for me, like Ashley and I were talking about it, where it was like I was good at math. I didn't enjoy it. I was just good at it. But then when it came to like history, depending on the history, I loved history. Like you're talking wars, you're talking Greek mythology, you're talking like ancient Rome, like that's up my alley. I got pumped for that. But then the minute you start talking about like the Spanish Armada, I'm just like, I sorry, I could give two craps about it. It's not something that like fascinated me or made me excited about learning. So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like there's such a different way that they could like do school to capitalize on kids' interests and like make it so that they could be what they want to be growing up to either benefit society more or themselves more. Because I sit there and I think about like career paths and everything else. And one thing that we talked about again before we came on was like in regards to college, like you and I met in college, and I don't regret going to college one iota. Like it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I treasure like a lot of memories from it, except obviously that one person we lived with for that 1 year. But like I genuinely I have to sit and think sometimes where, like I said, if you were to ask me, knowing what I know now, would I go back and go to college again? Like knowing what the information and the knowledge I have now, it's like I truly don't know, because so many things are different in different aspects of like I could have saved so much money. I could have started a career that I wanted to be in earlier. I could have dedicated some part of my life to something else in some other aspect. But again, it's not like I wish I coulda, shoulda. It's I'm curious. Like I wonder what life would have been if I had made a different choice. Do you ever get that?
Yeah, I think I remember as soon as I got out of college, I worked with this guy. His name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
He's a super cool dude. Had money, a little bit older, and his son was going into college. And he asked me my opinion on it. And it was the first time, like, I'm 21. This guy worked at One Penn Plaza. For you that don't know, that's like the big building attached to Madison Square Garden. When I went up for a job interview, I was like, borrowed my dad's suit. It was on like the 70th floor with like the city skyline. And I'm just going in. This guy's picking my brain. I was like, there's no way I'm getting this job. He's like, you're the first person I'm hiring. And I ended up being like his right hand man. And he asked me about school. And I told him that his son shouldn't go to college. And he was like, explain yourself. And I was like, I think they used to have the thing called like rate my professors back in the day.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I was like, at least go to community college, get all your prereqs out of the way. So that way they're at least cheaper. Because like I ended up having to take some summer classes like for like Farmingdale State College or whatever, and it was way easier and way cheaper to get like some like business rec classes and some other like standard classes that everybody has to take.
Yeah.
And also it would kind of maybe do a year of community college just to kind of poke around and see if they like stuff. Like,
Right.
I hate this sucks, because obviously we went to a high like I know that I think that you initially came in for exercise science, right?
No, I went in for PE, and
Yeah, so did I,
I switched to exercise
but
science, yeah.
yeah, I transferred like late, and there was nothing else I could do besides applied exercise science. So I didn't finish until 6 months after we graduated, technically, because I had to take a different course load than you because I transferred out
Yeah,
later. But so yeah, I think he actually did take my advice. His kid went to like community college. He looked up some like easy classes that will be transferable to most schools, like certain like basic math and science and whatnot, and kind of got an idea if he does want to do this. And if you do go to the school, figure out what teachers, because unfortunately with colleges, I guess it's less regulated or more regulated, but like one professor could be amazing and the
yeah.
other one is terrible. Like it's crazy how like different like a class that's supposed to be similar with like the same textbook, but like one professor is way different than the other one.
Right.
But but yeah, people have asked me, do I regret it? I don't regret it because the friends I made and the social experience that it
Yeah.
was, that like I learned a lot about myself, and meeting a lot of people from different places changes your aspect of like a lot of people in my family. Like I have like 30 cousins and I think like 12 or 15 like aunts and uncles, and a lot of them like haven't left New York. So it was interesting to kind of like just see people from like, this guy's from Maine, this one's from California, foreign exchange students, like that, like mixing pot of meeting people
Yeah.
was like really beneficial to, I guess, me experiencing life differently. So, but as far as like educational goes, neither of us are using our degrees. I feel like most of our friends aren't using our degrees. Do you remember the Krebs cycle and glycolysis?
Not
No,
even a little bit.
no.
I also have to remind myself that I'm
Palumbo's
shaking
gonna
my head on a podcast. I can't do that. I actually have to verbalize things. So no,
yeah,
I do not remember that.
Palumbo's gonna kill you. He's gonna kill
Oh,
you.
oh no, that's what, like 6 o'clock in the morning with that class or whatever it was. No, who am I thinking of? Was it him or somebody else?
Yeah, yeah. He didn't. He was. It almost felt like it was like a Harry Potter like
Yeah.
scene. He just came in with that giant book and basically just whacked it open and was like, I don't do PowerPoints and I don't do this. I have 45 feet of blackboard, and this is just going to get filled every class, and you need to know everything inside out.
Which is wild because you think back to like he was insanely intelligent. Like
Oh, super smart.
incredibly smart. But again, like you said, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Wasn't going to be the way that he taught or the way that he gave that information, and you would successfully gather it and be able to use it or anything like that. Like again, there's stuff here and there that I remember with different things, but I mean for the most part, like you said, it's just such a where you don't you don't use it, you lose it, right? Like that's the way that like I feel about with like a lot of stuff that I've learned over time. Where again, like we always make the joke of like the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and it's just
Yeah.
like I feel like we all like our generation knows that as like a fact, but it's just like name one person you know that has used that fact to like better themselves at their career or anything. It's just like that's where I always draw that blank where I don't I value the education that we got, but again, like we talked about, it's like you made a great point in term in saying like whether it's community college or even something else to like figure out what you want to do like going forward, because I think that's one thing that we as a society don't really help ourselves with, where we push very hard at a very young point where it's like you need to figure out what you want to do. Like again, we talked about it earlier when we both went to college. We both went for physical education because, and for me, the reason I did it was because I wanted to be a coach.
It was
I was
so
all,
hard. It
I
was
was
so
about
hard.
right, but for me, it was like I wanted to be. I did it because I wanted to be a football coach, and they told me if you want to be a coach, do phys ed. That's the way to get into it. And of course, seeing my football coach, like he was a gym teacher at my high school, and blah blah blah. 6 months into it, I was like, this isn't what I'm interested in. This is not like the path. Like, I don't want to do this. And then, like you said, I switched to exercise science. And it just like the rest was history in that regard, where I don't regret it, but it's also just like I don't use it. So you were giggling. What do you got? What did you
No,
remember?
because for the first 6 months, I think I know where you left was because the class was movement studies, and they would give us like 30 pages of stuff that we had to fill out, like papers for every 2-minute lesson plan that we had to
Yeah.
do about rolling out the ball and kicking with your left foot. And it was like, that's one of the reasons why like I like rebelled in college. I don't know. When I
Yeah.
was in high school, I just like listened to teachers and did whatever I wanted to. I think I
Yeah.
fought with the head of the department for a little bit about that because I was like, this is ridiculous. Like this makes no sense. Nobody does this. And it was like, what if you're sick and someone has to come in and watch your class? I'm like, they're gonna roll out a ball. And they're like, well, we don't believe that here. And I'm like, I got that, but
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. That was it when we had to go to like the elementary schools around and like teach kids how to like kick a ball, and it's just like,
yeah, in the hood, that they didn't give a shit about a ball. One guy told me his house just burned down and that his dad cheated on his mom as
I
like
was
a
gonna
child.
say,
And I'm like,
yeah.
oh, what about, do you want to learn levels? High, medium, and low? The kid might as well just like flick the cigarette in my face and been like, leave me alone.
You're so spot on with that. I can't disagree in the slightest. It's
And we're on camera and they're like, go ahead. And you're like, what do you want me to do? I don't know what to do with this kid right now.
right, right.
I'm 17 years old myself. I've been drinking for 5 days. I have no idea what I'm doing right now.
A kid's like, kid, I have the biggest hangover, and I'm supposed to tell you how to pick with your left and right foot, and I can't even figure out which one is left and right at this point. I'm just gonna give up at this point. No, I completely get it, but that sounds accurate as to like why it was not like that. It wasn't for me in exercise science. Like I did enjoy most of it, but again, like I look at it where it didn't benefit me either was again like the real like sciencey parts of that stuff weren't like what was interesting to me. It was like the strength conditioning aspects, the nutritional aspects of stuff were, which is ironic because I've always been a bigger guy with everything, but like I was always interested in like that kind of parts of it where, like you said, I couldn't care less about the glucose levels of this and this the sciencey part of it was never like, and I don't want to make myself sound dumb where it's like, oh, I pick things up and put them down. Like, yeah, obviously that's a big part of strength conditioning, but it's like, unless you're telling me the benefits, like straight up for like, and like when you go to like coach an athlete or you're doing something like coaching football or whatever, like I was always under the impression that if you could tell me the reason why I'm doing something to better myself, like I'll do it. And it sounds awesome. I don't need 13,000 reasons why doing high knees is beneficial for my glucose levels and my NO2, like blah, blah, blah. And that for me, that's the way so like when it came to that part, like the science part of it was just like out the door. And when we took our, what was it, CS exams after college, like it was just one of those things where I aced the movements, the exercise, the strength conditioning part of it. And in the science part, I know I flunked it. I didn't get it. I didn't pass it. And it was just like, well, you killed it on one part. And again, it goes back to what I was saying before, where I gave a shit about the other part. That's why I aced it, because I loved it. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I was excited about. I flunked the science part of it because it was just like, this isn't what I care about. I'm not trying to become the next Palumbo or whatever the hell his name was. I'm not trying to be that guy that wakes up in the morning and fills out a chalkboard for 45 minutes talking about blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares.
ATP, dog. Adenosine triphosphate. That
See,
goes into glycolysis, and then there's 18 parts that you had to memorize, which one of them I remember is pyruvate fructokinase. Don't know what it does. Just remember that term because it's etched into my brain. And then there's the Krebs cycle. And then it's like calcium goes over transverse T tubules and Z sector lines, and calcium and potassium go into the bloodstream. And I worked at Equinox for a year and I quit.
See, that is what I mean. You're proving my point for me. I'm so glad you know all those things that I just regurgitate word vomit of like, at one point I probably knew all that stuff too, like you said. And it's just, for me, again, it didn't get the juices flowing for me, like for a career path of like whatever I was trying to figure out or what I wanted to do. And it's just like, again, I don't know how many times I could go on an interview for like a strength conditioning coach and just, like I said, pretty much do what you just did and just regurgitate all those words out there and be like, are you impressed yet? Do I have the job? Or it's like, it doesn't work like that. It's like, they want to see results. They want to see things. Again, it's the excitement factor of things that people either want to see or what you want to do. And I wish we had more of a resource for that, especially where, like, again, we're in such an age of iPad babies where they just sit there. I saw again, like a little bit off topic, but like where I saw a viral video be talked about, I think like a week or two ago, where it was it a kindergarten teacher was on TikTok or something, and they asked her, they said, was there a big difference between you teaching kids 15, 20, even 10 years ago as opposed to like kids that you teach now?
Had to have been.
And she said it went, this is the reason why it went viral. She was like 15, she's like 10, 15, 20 years ago, kids could come in and they would know how to write their name. They would know what their name is. They would know what capital letters are. They would know what different denominations of money were. They could tell the difference between a penny, a nickel, a dime, a dollar, $20. Like nothing like, crazy, but like you think about like when you were a kindergartner, right? It was like you could walk, you could talk, you could hopefully read and write to an extent at that point. Like you're still learning things, but like you were a basic little human that knew stuff. She's like, kids these days, like the one that just like blew my mind immediately. She was like, I had a kid that came into my class the other day and I told him to grab the scissors and like cut like a star into like a paper. Kid didn't know how to use scissors. Just like looked at him and was like, what is this?
Yeah, well, I mean that's fine. It's a fine motor skill.
Right. But like it's just she says they don't know how to read, they don't know how to write, they don't know how to spell their name, they don't know what a capital letter is, they don't know what different, like again, like the different monies are, they don't know what it is. She's like, you know what they know how to do? They know how
Electronics.
they know how to take out a phone or an iPad, they know how to unlock it, they know how to get the password turned off on it, they know how to turn on a game or YouTube and just sit there with that thing and be happier than a pig in shit for like 10 hours. And she's like, it's mind blowing that this is where we're at with like from where we came from.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate, but I mean it makes complete and total sense. And
Yeah.
I think there's like, I know that even like some of my buddies now that have kids, obviously I don't have kids, because like I've even tried to talk to my one buddy he's got two different engineering degrees and he's a tutors on like the side, and he's like, basically I do kids homework for them. He's like, I try to teach them some things, but he's like, there's a lot of things that like I realistically know that I, as an engineer, civil and mechanical, don't use. So like I have a hard time telling this kid that he needs to learn how to do this type of calc or whatever when they don't have to do it. So it, I mean, it's unfortunate. And I think also we are the generation that, I don't know about in New Hampshire, but I know in New York, they were strict with not letting us use calculators on things because their whole shtick was, you're not going to have a calculator at all times in your pocket, so you can't learn to use that. And now it's like, it's hard to really like push a kid when a kid's like, hey, like, do I really need to know this? And it's like, you have a supercomputer in your pocket all day long and everything is checked
ChatGPT.
and like you could like it's, I mean it's unfortunate, but it's the truth. Like you're, and the way that technology is going, it's going to blow any, as hard as you want to work, it's going to blow you out of the water. So it's tough.
Right.
I mean, yeah, do I still want people to learn simple things? But I don't know. I don't think I could do long division right now. If there was a gun to my head, I think I would be killed. I don't think I could do long division. Anything with fractions, I can't do. Still can't spell theirs properly or know when to use them. And like, I think I got like a 3.6 in college. I could quote some stuff from some AP books and some other stuff, but it's like, I don't know. It's really tough to kind of say that, like, it's unfortunate.
I guess my
It's unfortunate.
question for you would be then is like where I was talking earlier about how you could have the two buckets of like the necessities for what you need in life and then like the stuff that like would be interesting or like you could mess around and like see what subjects are like fascinate you or which path you could want to go down. What would be like steps to get to a better point where we're at right now for you? Like, do you have any thoughts on that?
There's actually a movie about it. And I remember in college, in my psychology class, I brought this up and we had like a couple of class discussion about, it was like about the education system. And it is the movie Accepted.
Yes. I love that movie.
A great movie, underrated movie.
Yep.
But after watching that movie, I had like a real epiphany. It was like, oh, like that actually influenced a lot of the way that how I said my experiences in college changed me a lot more than the classes did.
Yeah.
Was because it was a for those of you that haven't seen it, spoiler alert, the dude doesn't get into college, creates a fake college, and then they have to try to keep making it more and more real to fool his parents to where it essentially mistakenly becomes a real college.
Yeah.
So the way that they teach in there is that people come together as young students and talk about things that they like, and then they went out and learned about it, and then essentially taught each other things that they learned, and as a group were able to learn collectively about something that they liked. What was one, like Rock 101, rocking our faces off, and then there was like I forgot some of the other categories, but
The
there was
cooking
a
class.
cooking
Yeah, I
culinary
was gonna say, what is this? What are you? And he just eats it. He's like, delicious.
yeah, he's like comes out of the kitchen, he's all like smoke all over him. He's like, what? There was an explosion of flavor.
I
But
forgot how good that movie was.
But yeah, no, I think that there is a thing to like community learning, which unfortunately also I guess doesn't work if everybody just watches iPads all day. But yeah, accepted is the way that I think that they should do some type of like alternative college just to see if it bears any fruit or not.
It's funny though, because like you said, that the fact that that was a movie where they just like were kind of like joking around with it, but it's again, it does make a lot of sense in terms of you want to get people together that care about stuff, that can find ways to either fix things or find a way to like make a job out of it or do something where it just, I don't know. I feel like sometimes what really sticks with me is that I have to catch myself sometimes too, right? Like I look at my previous employment where I was as miserable as I was at the end of it. And a lot of times I have to catch myself because I say, as much as I hated that place, it was toxic, it destroyed my soul and all this. I also don't 100% regret it because it also gave me the things that I was able to do in terms of like go on vacation, purchase a house, purchase my vehicle, get, married to the person that I love and everything. Like I was able to financially do all of these types of things because of the job that I had at the time. And granted, again, I didn't love it and I didn't hate it either. It was just a means to what I wanted to do outside of there. Of course, until it became to a point where I absolutely did hate it. And now, the job that I'm doing now, like again, would you ask me like, am I sunshine, rainbows, and puppies every time I'm walking in? Like, no, it's there's good and bad days. I don't loathe it, but it's also not like this is my dream job. This is what I've always wanted to do. It's a job that I'm content doing. I can see myself going forward doing it. And as long as I'm doing things outside of it that make me happy, I think I'm okay with that. And I think that's a lot of things that people don't really either realize or need to realize at this point, where sometimes they can take a step back and say, you can follow your dreams and try to do the best you can, but you also have to be careful that you don't want to end up loathing something that brings you joy and entertainment and everything else. For example, I recently, not well, yeah, I guess recently within the last couple of years, I ventured into the world of Twitch streaming with like the video games and all that. And it started off as a blast. I had a lot of fun doing it. And I built a small community and I had people that would constantly pop in. Like Mike, you used to come in the streams all the time and hang out and watch and comment on stuff. And I appreciated the heck out of that. And a lot of other people did too. But it also got to a point where I started regretting it because I was forced to either play games or jump online and do things when I didn't want to, or I didn't feel like it, or I had to play the game that I didn't want to play because people were clamoring for me to play it. And it just became like, I've played video games as long as I can remember, since Sega Genesis days. That was my jam. And I got to a point where I was like, I don't want to play video games. And I was like, hold the fuck up. Like, I am surrounded by video games like everywhere. That is like a part of my identity. And now I don't want to do it anymore because of like the choices that I'm making. Like I gotta, nope, stop. And like it was, I didn't quit it cold turkey, but it was like I started slowing down. Then eventually I got to a point where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. It just, I don't know. Does that any like do you have anything that resonates with you on that like kind of aspect where I have other examples too, like podcasting with like the football stuff where like I enjoyed that immensely, but then it became a point where I was like, I don't want to resent football because I'm talking about it so much where I was
Yeah.
like, I need to back off from this. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything like that?
No, you mean like just like a burnout from something. Or is
Kind
it
of.
like or is it a I guess it's almost more of like I'm trying to think of the proper word for it, but it's like it's almost like trying to capitalize on something that's fun, and then that kind of makes it not fun
Yeah,
anymore.
it's well, it's hard, right? Because it's not burnout. Because if the NFL was still going right now, like
Yeah.
I would turn this podcast off and go start watching NFL. That's who I am. I cannot get burned out watching football games. I love football games, but it's when I'm forced to do something that doesn't either benefit me or just like I'm doing constantly to a point where I don't see any.
Well, you do, or do you think you're doing it to appease yourself or other people?
That's I think that's more so it, right? That's
Yeah,
I think that's a bigger thing.
because we've had conversations about it where you're like something happened where this isn't fun anymore,
Yeah.
and then that's why we decided to do this because neither of us are really like I don't think we're going to look at analytical numbers and be like, we need to talk about this. We need to do that. This needs to be like this. We're kind of like, no, like it'd be cool to talk to each other. And if
Yeah.
some people find some type of solace in this, cool. And if they don't, then they don't. Like it's not really intended to make us rich or famous or whatever. It's just two guys trying something out and seeing how it goes.
Right.
And like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to do anything sketchy or weird. But yeah, I think especially with the streaming, you were like, I can't stream today. I'm like, so don't. And you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, but I told people I was going to. And I'm like, you don't have to, but people are probably going to get all pissy about it. So like,
It's that fine line, right? Where it goes from like, am I doing this, like you said, am I doing this for myself? Am I doing this for fun? Or do I need to do it to collect a paycheck, appease people, or give myself some kind of self gratification for doing what others demand of me at that point? Like that's a great way to think about it. And that's the thing is like a lot of times the where I would get caught up is like people are like, oh, you're doing it for money. And I'm like, no, it would be
I mean,
really
technically,
cool.
yes, but
Well,
no.
I mean, yeah, like, well, kind of, right? Like, if for me, it was more so like if money came with it, that's awesome. But
Yeah.
like, I was working full time, and it was just like I already play video games. It was like, let me just kind of see what happens with this. And like with the football podcast stuff, it was like I already talk football nonstop with people that want to talk football with me. And it was like if I could just spew my words on the internet or like whoever wants to listen to it, like hell yeah. But like if I don't get paid for it, but it was also in the back of my mind for both aspects of it where there was the promise of eventually getting paid, and then it was just like it's that slippery slope where I don't want the things that make me who I am and make me happy to turn into something where I resent it or it doesn't make me who I am anymore.
Yeah. Wait, you guys are getting paid?
Somebody else quoted that recently. I was at
Uh,
my job. Yeah, I was at my job. My buddy Zach said something like that, and he was just like, he's like, "Wait, you guys are getting paid?" And I was like, "We're the Millers." That is a great, great movie.
but yeah, as far as like feeling that way, I used to train all my friends for free. Like I enjoyed working for free. As soon as it became for money, it was no longer fun.
right,
I hated it. I hated personal training people and doing stuff at the gym, especially at Equinox. The amount that I was charging for myself to do something, even though I was only making $20 from it, like the amount the gym was making, I didn't feel it was like, oh, I need to be the best trainer on the planet. Like I have to, and it was actually like counterproductive because I would do things that were so like, I guess like specific that like people would become exhausted and would get turned off and not want to come back as opposed to like making a better habit for themselves.
yeah,
But yeah, but even that was like because in college, I don't know about you, but I was sold like a bill of goods was like if you go to college, you'll make 100 grand. Like it was like a six-figure job guaranteed, no matter whatever it was. You get a liberal arts degree, you make six figures because that's just how the world works. College degree, six figures. But then even in our major, I remember a lot of the times professors and stuff were like, I hope that you enjoy doing this and you're not doing it for money. And you're like, what are you talking about? And they're like, you're not going to make a lot of money. And it's like, and like at that point, like money's not real. You have an ID card that you use for food. You like buy $10 jugs of alcohol.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, like this is fine. Like, I don't need a lot of money. I don't need a lot of anything. Like, they're telling me I'm not going to make a lot of money. That's cool. And then as soon as you graduate, they're like, yeah, you could start off at like 30K. And then if you want to, you could like work for 5 years and then maybe get up to like 45. And I'm like, 45K. So this is, I could make more delivering cabinets like I was doing. Like, so it was like and I know that me and my dad butt heads when we first came out, because he was like, you need to like hit the pavement, go knock on doors. I'm like, you can't knock on doors. I'm like, everything's emails.
Right.
And none of the jobs are good. Like, even our strength coach in college, she also worked after at a college by me, a D1 school, and she thought she could get me in. And then I talked to her when I graduated, and she was like, hey, I'm sorry, but we only hire, I couldn't even get an unpaid internship. She's like, we only take people from our own programs. So like, sorry, SOL. It's like, shit.
An entry level job. We need you to be 21 or younger with at least 10 years of experience. So
Yeah.
you got that right. Yeah, no issue. No, I completely get that. That was the same boat with me. Was when I interned down at UMass, which was one of the I had an amazing experience. So you came down with me one time and saw how like crazy different that weight room was compared to our college one and everything. But yeah, it's after we graduated, I actually got a phone call from was it the University of Buffalo. Their head strength coach called me up and was like, hey, heard some great things about you from the strength coach over at UMass, and we'd love to get you up here and get you in as an intern and get you started on stuff. And I was like the most psyched person on the planet, and I was running around telling everybody like, I'm going to the University of Buffalo, I'm going to be strength intern, blah blah blah. Dig into it, and it's like, yeah, it's unpaid intern, and then on top of that too, it's like, now I got to move up there. I got to find a job that supports not only an apartment and everything else, but then I got to do the internship for free for X amount of time with no guarantee of a possible job afterwards, or maybe it might not even be something I enjoy. And I'm looking at like the distance from like where my house was in New Hampshire compared to the University of Buffalo, and I was just like, I had to call the guy up and be like, hey man, I appreciate it more than anything, but I have to say no, because it was just one of those things that just wasn't gonna, I couldn't lay all my cards on the table for the one opportunity of something that might not work out, so it's tough. There's no right or wrong answer to it, but it's not, I wish there was another way to figure things out when you still have the time to figure things out, if that makes sense. But
well, if it was now, if I was in college now, I'd probably be doing OnlyFans, so I'd be doing fine.
Selling those feet pics?
No, I'd be all out. I'd be all out doing weird stuff for money, 110%, without shame. Just definitely would have been in there.
Tons of butt stuff. Just kidding. Just kidding. He's not into the butt stuff.
No.
Actually, I'm not going to speak for him. He might be into the butt stuff, but
no, I'm not into the butt stuff. But I definitely would be doing anything to. I'd be jumping on that train for sure. And I probably would have found a couple of girls that are doing it on campus as well.
I bet you there's probably a whole bunch of girls on campuses that are very deep into OnlyFans or whatever other websites.
Dude, you haven't been on like a dating site in a long time. I mean, I haven't either in like 5 years, but when I was on there, it was like constantly like, oh, I do OnlyFans, I do OF, I do this. And I was just like, man, they're everywhere. Moms, teachers, it was like everybody's doing it. I mean, I don't know if that's the case anymore, but yeah, it was rampant. But yeah, to say if I was in college, I wouldn't be doing something stupid. Of course I would be.
I don't know why they would need to be on like dating sites and stuff. If you just go to like any porno, it's just like hot moms like down the street from you, like, oh, come check me out. And you're like, wait, what? They're not right there. Mm-hmm. No, thankfully I met Ashley on, what was it? OK Cupid. It was like a last ditch thing where I just put a profile up there, and like, she was like the fourth or fifth girl that I came across. And funny story for you. I don't know. I think I told you this, but the reason why her and I matched is because she was wearing a Rob Gronkowski ugly sweater from when he was getting hugged by the porn star or something like that back in like 2011 or
like
something.
B.B. Jones or something like that?
Yeah, something random like that. I think she and Ashley had a ugly sweater of him, and I was just like, ooh, was like, I like this girl. She's not only very good looking, but she likes the Patriots. That's 2 winners in my book. So slid
Yeah, I
into
think
her
it was.
DMs.
Yeah, and I guess it worked out.
I mean, for me, I
Yeah.
can't say anything about her. She's the one stuck with me at this point, but all right, buddy. Well, I think this I felt like this was a very somber episode, but I also feel like we really knocked it out of the park in terms of talking about like nostalgic stuff and like many issues with society and education, apparently, that we had to deep dive into this one with the failings of our upbringings with education in either college and high school and everything
Yeah, I
else.
don't know if
But
it's really failings. I guess it's like shortcomings. Nothing's perfect.
speak for yourself.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So I know at the end of the last episode we had our amazing discussion about smelly farts. Do you have anything for us this week?
Yeah, I gotta. This is a question that. So apparently, my ex, she asked me this question, and they asked it around the hospital where she worked at, and it was like, if you could fight one animal one-on-one and win, what would it be?
Ooh.
And I had stipulations to it, but you can answer it first.
Well, see, that's a very interesting question because, like, do I get a weapon?
No
weapon.
No weapon.
I think I could take on like maybe like a docile llama.
Sleepy llama.
I'm trying to think of like the most like big thing that would just be like calm that I could just be like.
Well, I didn't mean just large. It just was like as far as like the pecking order goes. Because I've had this weird thought in my head is that's how I think society should work. You should almost get like a bracelet that says like it's almost like a ranking system. You start off with like a rabbit, and then you just work your way up. And like if you have a high enough ranking, you're like, yo, that guy killed a bear with his bare hands. Like he gets to like it's like a pecking order.
He gets to be on the 70th floor of whatever.
Yeah.
Tower. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, let's knock off the llama because I feel like a lot of people could knock off llamas. I mean, I couldn't take on a bear. Well, it depends. If it's like a baby bear, I feel like okay about it.
No, I would say that this is you at your peak and this animal at its peak. You can't just go around punching babies.
Hold on, whoa! We're not talking about punching babies. I'm just saying, like, it's a big difference between like a full-grown grizzly bear as opposed to like
it's a
little baby cub.
That's a full-grown grizzly.
Oh, okay.
Bro, you ran away from a squirrel, so I'm not too.
Oh, hold on. You ran away from the same squirrel too. I don't want to. Don't throw me in that boat. We're sinking together if we were bringing that up because you're the one that ran away. Hey, look, a squirrel. What are you doing? Get out of here. Yeah, exactly. That was all you. That's a phenomenal question. I'll have to.
Mine is a boar. I said a boar. And then she was just like, oh, like, I'm like, let me guess. Every other guy said that they could take like a wolf. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
A wolf?
I was like, there's 2 scenarios. One, are we in an arena and like there's medical care after? Like, do I just have to basically survive and then I just get carted out and go to the ICU? Or am I like in the woods and I need to like fight this thing off and continue to survive? Because maybe if I'm in an arena, maybe I could kill like a wolf. And then because like I'm obviously going to be bleeding heavily. So like unless I have severe, like immediate, like get pressure on the wounds, cauterize this, do this, like get him blood. Like you're fighting something that has knives for teeth and claws. Like it's going to maim you. And then I said a boar, I think, is probably the largest, most intimidating animal that I think I could take in the wild just because if you could avoid its tusks.
That's what I was thinking. The tusks are going to still
and then I think that you could just sidestep because I can't really like bite you. Could gore you, I guess. Yeah. So as long as you could sidestep it, I think that you could just break a leg. One of its skinny little legs just come at it sideways.
Poor Pumbaa.
Yeah, it specifically just Pumbaa, no other warthog.
Oh my gosh, Lion King fans are going to be so upset with you. I can tell you that right now. I'll screw it. I'll take on Timon. You get Pumbaa, I'll take Timon, and
we're going to do a meerkat.
Yeah, well,
seriously pick one. I thought I was pretty accurate with mine. You said a llama and then babies. So
okay. Oh no, I did not say babies. At no point were babies were just thrown out there. I might stick with a llama. They're big. And they spit, right?
Spit, yeah. You're just gonna spit fight a llama?
Hey, if you're going to the ICU, taking on a boar, getting gored and all that, I'm gonna have to wipe off a hefty thing of nastiness when it just goes.
Just to let you know, as far as his pecking order goes, I'm gonna be way above you. Clearly,
Yeah, well,
I survive.
I'm not gonna be like missing a leg or an arm when you like have to like get it chopped off after bleeding out. I'm just gonna have to like get like goggles to not get spit in my
Goggles.
eyes. Yeah, just give me goggles. I'll take out a
Just
llama.
windshield wiper goggles. Oh my god, that's so stupid.
I got to be entertaining at least a little bit, okay? But
Yeah.
all right, buddy. Well, it's been a blast as always, and for our listeners out there, if you've made it this far, we appreciate the heck out of you for listening to me, Hogan, and my good buddy Mike talking all things random mayhem, agents of chaos. I think that should be. You want to be agents of chaos going forward?
I don't think we're very chaotic anymore. I think we used to be. We're retired agents of chaos.
RAC, RAC, ROAC. I'm trying to think of an acronym. We'll have to.
Rayoc, RAOC.
The Flimstims the fur. Yeah, got it. Nailed it. All right, we'll figure out something and we'll come back for the next episode and let you guys know for sure. We love you. We appreciate you. We will see you next time.
Bye.